how much damage has actually accumulated. But, you know, towards the end, I remember seeing how swelled up his eyes were. And yeah, that big knee definitely took the spirit, you know, that he had left. He's so skilled. It's just he's going to have a very big challenge, you know, mentally and emotionally when it comes to, you know.
What's being reported is that he had 2 broken orbital bones and a broken nose. So both his eyes were broken and his nose was broken.
There has to be something to be said that when you have an athlete whose native tongue is not English, then the doctor should speak fluent Spanish because he can. It's the pressure fighter. Oh, my head, he hurt him.
I mean, Ilia's face is just destroyed.
What happened to Ilia Topuria after that brutal night has become almost as big of a story as the fight itself. Following his devastating loss to Justin Gaethje at the UFC White House card, fans expected disappointment from the former champion. What nobody expected was the amount of damage he reportedly walked away with. As the first photos and medical reports started surfacing, it quickly became clear this wasn't a normal post-fight recovery. Heavy swelling, severe damage around both eyes, and reports of facial fractures serious enough to require surgery instantly became the biggest talking point across the MMA world. And according to many longtime fans, they'd never seen Topuria look this badly beaten after a fight before.
I always tell people that losing is not the end, losing is a lesson. Tonight I learned a very hard lesson.
I knew that was going to happen to him. Walking forward with their hands down on the opening bell, you're going to get walloped.
People saying that he reminds us of you and all that stuff.
No way, does he? He has the same tattoos, he says the same stuff.
I'm in front of you, son.
Shit! Right in front of you. Do something about it.
He does the same fucking movements. He was going to scream on the thing. I wish him well. He's all right. I like him.
Before anyone started talking about injuries, another storyline had already taken over. Conor McGregor believed Ilia had copied his entire persona. But after fight night, that comparison suddenly took on a completely different meaning.
Right here, shout out. One thing I was going to say about this is that when the doctor came in, I don't know if he speaks English or if he speaks Spanish or Espanol, but I think there has to be something to be said that when you have an athlete whose native tongue is not English, then the doctor should speak fluent Spanish because he can talk in his own language. And when you're fighting, you want to hear your own language. So when, you know, Alexandre, when his brother, I probably said his name wrong, when his brother comes in, he speaks Spanish. When DDP fights, DDP in his corner, they speak Afrikaans, which is his native tongue. Even though they understand English, when you're in the middle of a fight, I want to hear my native tongue. I don't want to hear an outside language come into my brain. So I think next time, I don't know if this guy speaks Spanish or I'm assuming he speaks English, but I think they need to have the interpreter or somebody who's a doctor speak the native tongue of the athlete. But I'm glad they didn't stop it because this guy says, what figure you see? And he must say, uno. And then he was like, I said, what? I need one, motherfucker.
That conversation quickly spread across the MMA world. Not because people wanted excuses for Ilia's loss, but because vision is everything inside the cage. Once a fighter struggles to see clearly, judging distance, avoiding punches, and making split-second decisions becomes incredibly difficult. Whether the language barrier mattered or not, it sparked a much bigger debate about fighter safety. But according to several elite fighters, the real warning signs didn't begin with the doctor's check. They were already visible from the opening moments of the fight.
Gaethje was closer to being finished than Topuria was, though. Gaethje's mindset is that, though. I've seen him saying, I just hope I'm alive after this. Like, every time I prepare to not get out of this.
Gaethje's a dog, though, because to get hit in the body and have somebody full mount trying to elbow you, we all know what that's like. I think Ilia made the biggest mistake by going for that damn armbar.
At what point in the fight did you realize that Ilia's in trouble?
First round, because we saw Gaethje using that jab. In the second round, though he did hurt him, he was still getting tagged up a lot. I think he got hurt with an uppercut and a straight right hand. So I was like, if he doesn't change this, and if you were getting touched like that from the beginning, it's not a good sign. That first minute, he didn't fake, he didn't level change it, he just walked right towards him. It reminded me of like a boxing sparring session.
When Gaethje sprawled on him and he stopped that shot, I said, oh, this is bad.
It didn't look like himself though. I'm not taking anything away from Gaethje, but I'm saying how I usually face moves in the beginning.
How much money you lost on the bet?
I lost a lot of money there.
Ilia Ilia Topuria will look back and go, why didn't I let him up?
What about that 1 minute between the rounds? If Ilia had to come out with that 1 minute when they were looking at him and he said he couldn't see, Justin might have stopped him right then. Ilia had a full minute to completely recover that he should have gotten. Inexperienced doctor.
They overruled doctor who may not have been as experienced in this.
Mark said it was an inexperienced doctor. You gotta let them fight.
Gotta let them fight.
If they want to fight, you gotta let them fight.
Looking back now, the loss feels much easier to understand. Not because Ilia suddenly became a worse fighter, and not because Justin Gaethje got lucky. The biggest names in MMA all seem to notice the same thing. Topuria wasn't fighting the way he normally does. The feints, the level changes, the constant adjustments that made him one of the most dangerous strikers in the sport, they simply weren't there. Instead, he walked directly into one of the most experienced pressure fighters the UFC has ever seen. Against almost anyone else, that might have worked. Against Justin Gaethje, every mistake comes with interest. And by the time the championship rounds arrived, the damage had already begun to tell the story.
Yeah, Ilia's in the hospital. He's busted up. You know, I'm not a doctor, but his eye looked like he probably has a broken orbital. I don't know that. That's not a fact, but I'm just assuming. And my plans for him are to go home and rest and recover and take his time. And you know, tonight was a rough night for him. I just want to make sure he's healthy and good, and not even thinking about him fighting again. Just want him to go home and relax and rest and heal.
Dana White made one thing clear. The only priority was Ilia's health. Days later, his team confirmed non-displaced orbital fractures with a positive recovery outlook. Physically, healing had already begun. But in combat sports, the mental recovery is often the toughest fight of all.
That was accumulated. You know, when you're in there, you're not really focusing on their face and how much damage it has actually accumulated. But, you know, towards the end, I remember seeing how swelled up his eyes were. And yeah, that big knee definitely took the spirit, you know, that he had left. He's so skilled. It's just he's going to have a very big challenge, you know, mentally and emotionally when it comes to, you know, coming back and performing. But his skill level is second to none when it comes to his ability to, you know, pick his shots. And, you know, he's still one of the best. He just needs to understand that this is a crazy game. Anything can happen. And you got to go in there with a mentality like that. I feel like I'm going to fight again. I mean, that's what I feel inside my body. But, you know, I haven't made a choice. Yeah, I'm very interested to see what happens in that fight. Max definitely knocked me out, but I feel like I got that win back with the Ilia Topuria fight. I would love, you know, as I've stated hundreds of times publicly, I would love to punch Conor McGregor in the face. So, yeah, I'm excited about that fight. I'm excited to be there and watch it.
Yeah, bro, like, he's one of the only guys that you haven't had a chance to punch in the face.
Exactly. I mean, there's no doubt he's one of the biggest superstar in the sport. And so fighting a guy like that, you know, obviously does great things for me financially and, you know, for my legendary status and stuff like that.
By this point, the conversation was no longer just about broken bones or swollen eyes. People wanted to know what the man who actually caused that damage thought about it all. Surprisingly, Justin Gaethje wasn't celebrating Ilia's injuries or questioning his toughness. Instead, he acknowledged just how dangerous Topuria remained, even after everything that happened inside the cage. At the same time, Justin admitted that injuries around the eyes create a completely different challenge. One that isn't only physical but also mental. Because once a fighter experiences that kind of damage, stepping back into the fire can become just as difficult psychologically as it is physically. And hearing that perspective from the man who handed Topuria his first defeat made his words carry even more weight.
Reports are that he has 2 fractured orbitals and a broken nose. Just that alone, just the orbitals alone, like anytime you've got eye injuries, like anything severe with your eyes, long-term consequences vary. You know,
it's psychological.
Absolutely.
And your body heals.
And physical.
The body is resilient.
Yeah, like, I'm telling you,
broken bones make stronger bones. Like that is his orbital bones will be stronger.
It depends on where, though, Justin. The orbital bone, I had my orbital broken, and for 6 months I would do this and my tooth would move, and it's right where my sinus cavity is. You remember when you hit me with the spinning elbow?
Your tooth would move,
dude.
When you push
right
on
here,
your cheek,
and my tooth would move.
Oh.
Joe Rogan highlighted something casual fans often overlook. Broken orbital bones don't just affect healing. They can affect confidence, vision, timing, and reaction speed long after the swelling disappears. That's why eye injuries are among the toughest challenges in combat sports. And despite all that, Justin Gaethje still believed Topuria remained dangerous until the very end. Despite
paid sparring partners to try to drop you with body shots in the gym.
Yeah.
Is there any significance to that or any?
He would have made $1,000 off of me tonight if that was the case. Yeah, I mean, it still hurts right now. That hurts. My hand hurts. My jaw hurts. He is a formidable opponent. He was so good and so dangerous. And I never really got to. I didn't see him quit. I saw them almost stop the round fight at the end of the third round. And I was like, no way. And then he's back out there and back to being dangerous. So, yeah, this is a crazy sport. I love it.
those words carried weight because they came from the man who was standing across the cage. Justin Gaethje admitted his hand hurt, his jaw hurt, and that Topuria never stopped being dangerous. Even after 4 punishing rounds, he never felt completely safe until the fight was over. That's what separates elite fighters from everyone else. They recognize greatness, even in the opponent they just defeated. But while Gaethje focused on how dangerous Topuria remained, another UFC legend looked at the fight through a completely different lens. Georges St-Pierre didn't just see a damaged face. He saw an injury he had personally experienced, and he understood exactly how devastating it can be.
Well, his eye was compromised in the first.
Wow,
right?
it's
Early.
very hard.
I think that's what messed him up. I think once he saw the blood coming down his face, I think that mentally really screwed him up because 1, he's not used to it, and 2, he probably wasn't expecting it. He was expecting to go in there and do what he normally does and knock guys out, and then as soon as he gets tested and faced a little bit of adversity, he completely changed.
Look, I fought in Toronto, Jake Shield, and people don't know that, but I think in the 3rd round, I got punched in the eye, and it blew up. I had what they call a microedema. I was blind, and normally when you're used to see with your both eyes, that's how you get your accuracy, your distance control, right. Because both eyes, the field of vision cross each other, and that's how you can measure distance accurately. If you have one eye and you're not used to gauge distance with it, it messed up everything. And it happened to me in a fight in Toronto. So you have to deal, and if you tell the doctor that you cannot see, he stopped the fight. So I was starting to, when I got punched in the eyes at that time, I was starting to see blurry. And I thought it was a dust, so your reflex is to wipe it off. When you wipe it off, and if you have a microedema, it makes it worse because it spread the thing all over your vision, your field of vision. So I was like this, it get worse and worse. But in the heat of the action, you're like, shit. It's like maybe you try to wave it off, but it didn't work, make it worse. I had to fight like this. So I'm sure Ilia, I look at.
For many fans, that may have been the most valuable insight anyone offered after the fight. Georges St-Pierre wasn't guessing. He wasn't reading medical reports. He was describing exactly what it feels like to compete when your vision suddenly disappears. Perception changes instantly. Simple movements become difficult. The distance you've judged your entire career no longer feels reliable. And inside a fight moving at championship speed, there's no time to stop and adjust. You simply survive the best you can. That perspective also explains why so many people were impressed that Topuria kept fighting despite everything happening to his face. Whether fans agreed with the stoppage or not, very few questioned his toughness. If anything, the performance earned him even more respect. But it also reopened another debate that had quietly started during the fight itself. Did the cage-side doctor make the right call? Or was something else happening behind the scenes?
Wow, that guy's crazy. Man, look at that dude. Justin Gaethje, the biggest underdog on the card. Ilia Topuria, the new sensation, the new superstar of the sport, just got pieced up, demolished, and stopped by the doctor at the end of round 4. Justin Gaethje, the highlight, gets it done at the White House, does the backflip off the octagon. Oh my God.
Watching the replay, many fighters reached the same conclusion. This wasn't just another loss, it was one of the toughest battles of Topuria's career. The only question now was how he would recover from it.
Now, he got pretty busted up. And we haven't gotten an update, nor are we owed one, but generally we will get an update. Was that just bruising, or was there fractures? Was there orbital fractures? Because that's the game changer. That's where you're taking, instead of 2 weeks, you're taking 8 months. Eyes are a sensitive topic. You only get one pair. Unfortunately, they have not figured out how to give you new ones. Eyes are different. Orbital and orbital fracture, if that is in case what we're dealing with. I do like the sooner rather than later, but I don't have enough information based on those injuries. If those were surface injuries or if there's something a little bit deeper to that. So let's stay on it. Let's keep.
As the days passed, the picture became much clearer. Topuria's team confirmed the orbital fractures were non-displaced, meaning recovery looked far more positive than many initially feared. His coach even revealed that most of the swelling had already gone down within days. Physically, Ilia was healing, but inside the MMA world, a different debate had already started. Many fighters believed the biggest reason behind his defeat wasn't just the injuries. It was the mistakes he made long before the damage around his eyes ever became a factor.
I don't want to wake up Harley, but holy shit. Oh, don't hurt yourself. Okay, I was so scared. I was like, okay, I know he's so tired for him to do a flip.
Hell yeah.
Wow. And you know what I mean? People within my comments saying, "Oh, you riding Gaethje because he's your homie." Shut the fuck up. I'm riding him because he got heavy hands and he got a strong ass jaw. Oh my god. I'm emotionally drained. Fuck yeah.
Curtis Blades wasn't celebrating because he disliked Ilia Topuria. He was celebrating because he believed Justin Gaethje had been underestimated from the start. While many fans wrote Justin off as past his prime, Curtis always believed he still had the power to change a fight with one shot. And that's exactly what happened. The upset stunned the MMA world. But once the excitement faded, the conversation quickly shifted away from Gaethje's victory and toward Topuria's condition. Because this didn't look like an ordinary loss. It looked like a fight that could have lasting consequences.
Oh! Oi! Oh! Don't call the doctor. It's over. Oh, his shit. He broke it. Broke. The boy's like, I'm not going down yet. Yeah, he's been hurt. He can't see it all. This is it. They're gonna call it. They're calling it. Yep, knew it. Congrats to Justin Gaethje, man. Congrats to Justin Gaethje. Retire. Don't even come back.
He just walked straight forward. Ilia walked him down, didn't do no feints, just straight walked at him. And he hit a lot of jabs right in the beginning. If people watch that first round, that first minute, you're gonna see a lot of mistakes that Ilia just made. He just like walked right through him. I don't think he respected him too much, you know. He just came right at him and he paid the price. This is the type of fight that you need a big break. You need to relax for a little bit, let your mind, let your body heal, let your bones, you know. Obviously, I think he got his eye orbital broken, maybe both of them. I'm hoping for a speedy recovery for my boy, but that was crazy to see that his corner literally had to throw in the towel for him. That's how bad it got, you know, and it sucks when you can't see like that, but it shows the dog that Ilia is. Never gave up when they gave him the chance. Are you sure want to keep going?
What made Demetrious Johnson's reaction so interesting wasn't simply that he believed the fight was over. It was how quickly he identified the mistakes that led to that moment. According to DJ, the biggest warning signs appeared almost immediately. Topuria walked straight forward, very few feints, very little movement. And against someone like Justin Gaethje, that approach left almost no room for error. As the damage built round after round, the conversation changed from tactics to survival. Even DJ admitted that after seeing the condition of Topuria's eyes, the priority was no longer winning another exchange. It was protecting a fighter whose vision appeared to be disappearing in real time. And that's exactly where medical experts began asking an even bigger question. Should the fight have been stopped earlier?
No, not so fast. This whole sequence started after the third round. Topuria got absolutely peppered, multiple shots to the right eye, and we could hear the translation while Topuria was on his stool, with his team calling for the doctor, saying that he could not see out of his right eye. If you can't see out of your eye, it's pretty simple. The doctor's gonna come in, they're going to evaluate you, and if you're telling them that they can't see, they are going to, and they should appropriately, stop the fight. We see the ringside physician come in, he does a quick part of his assessment, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, and then afterwards he basically looks over to Mark Goddard and shakes his head and says no. Based on that doctor's initial assessment, Topuria cannot see. He is not safe to continue, and the doctor tells Mark Goddard, no, he can't see. Fight should be off. Looks like this other gentleman who then steps in is one of the other ringside physicians that was there.
Brian Sutterer analyzed the moment from a doctor's perspective, not a fan's. Medically, the situation seemed simple. If a fighter can't see, continuing becomes a serious safety risk. That's why the ringside physician initially appeared ready to stop the fight after Topuria said he couldn't see properly. But those decisions aren't made by one person alone. After a quick reassessment, the fight continued. That moment quickly became one of the biggest controversies of the night. Some praised this decision, while others believed it may have exposed an already injured fighter to even more damage.
Your first thoughts? Yes. Yes, it is. I think that Justin Gaethje is a good fighter in his own right. I think he's past his best, to be honest. Carries a lot of power. Got good grappling as well, really good wrestler. I just don't think that anybody is anywhere close to the level of Ilia Topuria right now. The only thing is, I think that Gaethje is a little bit more active. Obviously, he fights more often, but I don't think that makes a difference. Someone like Ilia Topuria, to be honest, I think that activity, it's a good thing, but it also puts a lot of miles on the clock being so active, especially in title fights. So I do think that Gaethje's got a chance. He's a tough guy, punches really hard, good grappling, good stand-up as well, good chopping low kicks that he does, good uppercuts, good overhand right, good takedown defense. But I think that Topuria's way.
Tom Aspinall's prediction before the fight now sounds almost unbelievable. He openly admitted that he still believed Topuria was the better overall fighter, but he also respected Justin Gaethje's greatest weapon, his ability to change everything with one clean shot. That's exactly what makes elite MMA so unpredictable. Being the more complete fighter doesn't always guarantee victory. Sometimes experience makes our time, and one perfectly placed strike outweigh months of predictions. And after the final bell, even many of Topuria's supporters admitted something they hadn't expected before the fight. Justin didn't steal the victory. He earned it.
How was your feeling going into that fight? Did you really believe Gaethje could pull off a surprise? And after you talk about that, I want to ask about this super fight with him with both belts on the line. How the hell are we going to do this?
Brother, I'm a guy who doesn't sit on the fence. To me, Topuria had every chance of winning. He had all that aura. He had everything going for him, all that hype. But then we're talking about MMA, and in MMA, anything can happen. One hand, one blow, one guy having a better day than the other. And that's what happened. Gaethje was better than anyone that night. You know, took punches, showed a lot of heart, had a lot of spirit, had a lot of willpower to become champion, and he deserves to be the champion he is today. Right? Oh, a lot of people say, yeah, but Topuria wasn't the Topuria from before. Oh, really? Yeah. But Gaethje's strikes were having way more effect. Gaethje was much better than him in every sense. Only in the second round did Gaethje show more heart because Topuria put together that huge combination, right? So today, really, Gaethje deserves to be the champion he is today for everything he did. And Topuria for sure deserves to keep his mind strong so he comes back much better than he is.
Charles Oliveira probably summed up the entire night better than anyone. Before the fight, Topuria looked unstoppable. The hype, the confidence, the undefeated aura. Everything suggested another dominant victory. Then one fight changed the entire conversation. Not because Topuria suddenly became a bad fighter, but because MMA has always punished even the smallest mistakes. One clean shot, one bad decision, one difficult round. That's sometimes all it takes to completely change history. Today, the biggest question isn't whether Ilia Topuria can fight again. Most signs suggest he eventually will. The real question is whether he can return as the exact same fighter fans watched before facing Justin Gaethje. Because physical injuries heal with time, but rebuilding complete confidence after a night like this has always been the toughest recovery of all.